Well, welcome to Common Thread. Welcome to our guided self-examination meditation. Today's going to be a little bit different format. We're not going to actually do the meditation during the recording. Instead, I'm going to outline a spiritual practice, and hopefully we'll do that practice together in the community through the week. So first off, you're going to want to pause right now and get something to write with so that I can outline the exercise for us to do together. Okay, you have something to write with? Are you ready? So it's a practice that I do quite regularly. I suspect you'll find it helpful because I sure have. But like all valuable things in life, it's going to take a little bit of work. In this case, you're going to need to work at gathering up significant things that have been on your to-do list recently. So it's going to be a guided meditation drawing from using items on your to-do list as a way to help us examine our lives. So that's a little bit of a price to entry, that gathering the items part. For some, it's going to be easy. I use a task app, so I can just scroll through my completed task. But that's not the case for everybody. So it might be some work to figure out what are my to-dos and where are they? Are they on bits of paper or a list on my phone? Are they in my calendar? So the fact that it's going to be some work is an impediment. Maybe enough of an impediment, maybe enough of an obstacle to make you think, nah, not worth the trouble. So let me say again, this has been an invaluable form of self-examination for me. I hope you'll do it. It really is worth the effort. So as we're writing down how the practice goes, that's number one. Number one is gather a substantial list of recent to-dos. Now write this one down too. Number two, spend some time with that list in hand practicing mindfulness meditation. Focus on breath. You know how we do it. Notice your mind wandering when it does, and then return to your breath. And do that for 3 to 5 minutes. We're quieting the noise of our chatterbox brains. We're quieting the noise of our habit-driven brains. We're bridling our unbridled thoughts, creating listen for the inner voice space, creating discern something deeper space. So, number one, gather a substantial list of your recent to-dos, both from work, from personal life. And number two, with that in hand, start with 3 to 5 minutes of mindfulness meditation. Now, number three, I'm going to give you a series of questions to begin to ask yourself about some items on your to-do list. We're going to stand outside the doing of our to-dos, and we're going to look at them and ask ourselves about them. So in a posture of listening deeply, that's why we start with mindfulness, we ask ourselves about the things that we do, about the things that consume our time and our focus. Most things that make it on our list get there without much consideration. They just show up, demanding to be done, so we do them. Rarely does life allow us the luxury of consideration, reflection. Rarely do we get a chance to deliberate about our to-dos. We just do them. Now, mostly when these things present themselves, we grab them up and we do them. We give them our energy and our focus without ever really assessing them. So that's the practice. We quiet ourselves. We prepare ourselves to listen deeply. Then we read through the things on our list. And as we do, often one or more of them will stand out to us. Maybe we don't even know why, but there's a little ping, a little nudge. And so we pull that one out and we focus on that item or that handful of to-do items, asking ourselves, and this is the next step, a series of questions about the item or the items. The first question is, why is that to-do there? And the second is, does the deepest part of me really want it there? Jot those questions down. Why is it there? And does the deepest part of me really want it there? Now, those can be complex questions. We human beings are complex beings. We're full of hidden drivers and hidden motivations, which is, again, why we start with meditation, setting our intention to listen deeply. Things don't make it on our lists if they don't have merit, but in this practice, we're examining the merit that we've assigned those things. We're questioning that merit. Is this the best thing for my time and energy? Is this the wisest thing? And is this the best approach? Is this the wisest approach? Why is it on my list? And does the deepest part of me really want it there? Here's the thing about us humans. We tend to put things on our to-do list this week because we did them last week. They're often there because of habit. It's a survival instinct. We've talked about it before, hardwired. It's helpful, except when it's not. Because life changes, and there always comes a time when what we did, which was good and useful and important, is no longer. But if we don't stop and assess, our habit wiring will keep us expending time and focus and energy even after the necessity, the benefit of a thing has passed. So that's the next question to be asking ourselves, and jot it down. Is that thing on my list because of merit or because of habit? That'll be a question we ask ourselves. Here's another. Is there an internal driver that put that thing on my list? We spend a lot of time in our community looking for our inner drivers, the thing under the thing, the core lie of our personality type, some truth that we hold that isn't true enough. So you've probably come across some inner driver, maybe in an Enneagram group or in a self-awareness group. Drawing from that insight that you've had about your own shadow side, we then ask ourselves this next question. Did that shadow side component that I've seen, did it put that item or this item or these items on my list? For some of us, we have a people-pleasing shadow side. Do you? And if so, did it put one or more items on your list? And if so, is it your deepest desire to have that on your list? Maybe you've run into a look successful shadow side. Is that behind some thing or things on your list? And if so, do you really want it there? Maybe you've got a competitive instead of a cooperative shadow. Did that get stuff onto your list? Do you really want it there? Perfectionist shadow side? Meet people's expectation at all costs? Good people do X or Y? Whatever it is that you've unearthed about your shadow self, there's a good chance it had a hand putting stuff on your list. Do you really want it there? So that's the next question. Is this thing or that on my list because of some instinct that I've run into before? I've found that to be a super helpful question to be asking. And finally, the last question, jot this one down too, comes from a different perspective. Maybe like me, the things that you don't like to do that are on your list, do an exercise like this, and I've tended to depreciate those things. I don't think that's actually how to use the word, but what I mean is the opposite of appreciate. I tend to devalue things on my list that I don't like doing. Not many like mundane chores, dishes, groceries, carpool, emails, so it's easy to depreciate them. But it's helpful to look at those things through the lens of their higher purpose. That's the next question. These things that are not my favorite things, these essential but unfavorite things, do they serve a higher purpose? Yeah, this thing's not my favorite thing, but the people I do it for, boy, is my favorite. Or the purpose behind this thing, very important to me. I have a higher commitment to people that I love or a dream that I serve, and these mundane things, they help me serve that, they help me serve them, maybe provide for, earn an income for, maybe create space for others or for a dream to thrive and to flourish. So that's a good question to be asking ourselves. What higher purpose are we serving, doing some mundane but essential thing that shows up on our list? It's invaluable to be reminded of that higher purpose, helps us not feel resentment or impatience. Okay, that's the exercise. Here's a quick recap in case you missed something. First, gather several things that make it on your to-do lists. Second, with that list in hand, set aside time for mindfulness meditation, setting ourselves to listen for the inner voice. Third, scan our list for one or more handful of items that ping us, asking ourselves questions about those things on our to-do list, pulling on them like a thread to see what wisdom is awaiting us. And those questions again, why is it there? Does the deepest part of me want it there? What did I say no to say yes to that? Is it there because of habit or because of merit? Has some part of my shadow side put it on my list? And finally, about the mundane but essential things, what's the higher purpose that it serves? Why are they there, and should they stay there? Now, I really do hope you'll do this exercise in your own quiet and alone space. But I also know from personal experience, the fullness of the experience happens best when we work through these questions with a spiritual friend. I've done that many times, and I hope you'll do it as well. And so, in Dwelling Divine, as we engage this practice, alert to the quiet whispers of the inner voice, may we see what consumes our focus and energy through the lens of our deepest, truest selves. Amen. Well, again, hope you'll do it with me. And as always, post your thoughts in the What Are You Thinking chat group on the app. It's a great place for us to share the journey with each other. Hope to see you in the chat group. And as always, hope to see you on Sunday. Have a growing week.